Hey guys, Redbeard here from Gun Gamers. So today I'm going to do a little review slash explanation, or overview if you will, of my helmets. Now, for those of you that have played with me or seen me play, I have been running an Emerson replica PJ Fast helmet. This one right here. Run this one for a number of years. And recently, with Airsplat going out of business, and you can get an absolute steal. Normally, the replica helmets from Emerson usually run about $75. I bought one for $25, which at the end of the day cost me $40, so I saved $30. And I got me a second one. That what I was hoping to do with this one, because it's a little darker, not quite as tan. It can be run as like an Op4 type setup helmet. So if I wear like M81. Camouflage or my woodland pattern that I have, that I could wear this with that and it would blend in fine and be a little lower. I can run it as an Op4 type thing, because I know some events are starting to get to the point where they want your headgear to at least be green. It doesn't quite matter so much as the body, because you can surround that with the green ammo, but I know I've heard some people wanting to make sure that your headgear also reflects that green. So, without further ado, I'm just going to kind of give you a brief overview between the two versions. Some notes I've taken from Emerson once I got it, and overall my helmet setup, because there's obviously stuff on it and why I have it the way I do. So, just to break it down, this one right here is the Emerson Fast helmet. It's a replica, so both of these they're not ballistic rated at all, so do not try to wear this and think it's going to shave like a bullet. Don't do that. It's basically a glorified bike helmet, pretty much. But it's the PJ version, which means it has the vent holes on the top here. And this one right here is the Emerson, but this is the ballistic style. It's not ballistic. I repeat again, it's not ballistic. It's just a replica of the ballistic version. As you can see, there are no helmet holes on the top. So, now that I got that out of the way, some of the cool kind of setup things, and this is like, some people will go like, why do you wear a helmet and that kind of thing, and it does offer some protection a little bit, because it's basically a glorified bike helmet slash BB whatever thing. I like wearing a helmet because, especially in the CQB environments in which I'm normally playing, if I was playing out in like at Hunters Creek Airsoft, where Lil Soft and a lot of the other staff at Gun Gamers, we actually run games, I wouldn't necessarily go to a helmet right away, because it's more open, the engagement distance are nearly as close, so I don't have to worry quite so much about trying to protect my lovely full head. So, but that's why I wear a helmet, when especially going to River City Airsoft, Buffalo Battlegrounds, any kind of indoor, or even running at Red Storm East, where it was all indoors, where the engagements were going to be a lot closer. The helmet actually does provide some protection, at least from BBs. So, some protection. I've heard stories, so I'm not going to speak in generalities and say it will stop every BB, but for the most part, it has protected my head from getting shot, and also has served as a great way for me to actually hear that I got shot in the head, as well as I can feel it. I know if you watch some of the gameplay footage I had recently, earlier this month, from when we went to Buffalo Battlegrounds with E-House and myself, you can actually hear the BB hit my helmet, and I quickly call my out. You can actually hear that. That's another great thing for me in order to keep my honor, if you will. Now, I'm going to quickly go over my oldest helmet before I get over to the new one. So, on this helmet, this is kind of the first one I kind of experimented with things. I have a Surefire helmet light. This is a real one. Found it on eBay from like a surplus place or something like that. It was like $40, something like that. I'm not kidding you. Now, this one, this particular helmet light, is the one that has the white light and red light, which I can easily turn on the red light. It's supposed to be for like low light usage and not giving away, maintain that light discipline if you're out in the field, if you're in the actual military, but me, it's almost like another dead rag kind of thing. Now, at the bottom, when it comes to here, this little switch here has a lovely little IR strobe. If I run nods, which gets to, I'll get to this in a moment, that's good for you to signal to your teammates and such. But moving on, because I'm not doing a review of the helmet. So I have a helmet light of some sort. Crucial. So that way I'm not always trying to use my pin light at all to try and garnish where I go. I can just turn on the helmet light and I can just look and just know where I'm going. Up on top I have a V light. That's a red V light for low light because there's like a dead rag. Got some awesome patches. Got the our flag and a sticker from Forged Clothing Company. If you haven't checked that out, please do. They made the official clothing gear for the American Sniper movie. Awesome, awesome organization. Then over here, I have my Lion Claws alumnus tab. Into 2 ops, 2 day ops. So got that and 7 because Mass Effect represent. And then on the back here, I have a counterweight pouch by Emerson, which I'll put extra batteries and such in here, which is always great. It's another pocket I can free up on my person. I can carry that on my head, and it actually overall just balances out the helmet. And then I have some green V-lights here and here. I really haven't gotten to run these. They're really right there just more for show, just kind of make it look tactical and all that, not in the sense. If you were having IR ones, then it would be fine because then you can maintain that light discipline if someone's not running nods at all. So if you're not running nods, the IR one will basically mean you can't see it, but if you're wearing nods, you'll be able to see it, and that'll be friendly indicators why they're primarily on the back of my head. But I haven't quite found a use for when to use those yet, so stay tuned for that. So right now they're just there for show. And then I have this lovely little NVG arm, which there's no NVG attached to it, but I'm working on changing that. This is a replica one, an all tan. I'll have to play around to see if maybe I have to get a real steel one, real spec one. It's basically, I'm not going to go crazy with the nods. It's basically, as someone put it, the Fisher Price version of like your first nod kind of thing. Just to kind of just take my first little steps in the shallow end to see how the nod things work, and that's also why there's another one over here. So that way, if I do end up getting that nod set up and it actually works, I like it, whatever, I can actually have something, I can run it. Don't have to spend the money already, because I already have it. Now, moving on to the second one. The second one's a little different. There's a little bit of a different setup to it. I'll get this in a minute. This one, obviously, I have a Emerson replica NVG arm on there. That whole thing. It's really cool. I have another Surefire helmet light on here because I like Surefires because they obviously work. They're very bright. And it's a helmet. It's a helmet light. Something I really, really, really like. Very low profile. But this one's a little different. You got the white, of course, but then you got blue. It's blue. And what's kind of cool with the blue, it almost acts almost like a black light. So if you were to, because I actually noticed this when I had my saw out, which has the orange tip on it, and I put the blue on it, and that orange just lit right up, almost like neon paint. So that was actually kind of cool. Cool little feature there if you're thinking about it. So moving on, I got my lovely little Texas Punisher flag that I got as a trade from Corey, who are Pagan, who's on Team Lulsoft and has done some articles for gun gamers. On the right hand side, I got my alumnus tab here, Mario flag, my helmet cam. I'll go over that real quick setup there in a minute. Another V light for red, because that's the one I actually know. On the back here, this is a dummy, not real steel yet, not real deal yet. Once I get nods and figure that out, then maybe. But for right now, this one you can actually put 2 AA batteries in there, but there's still just enough space where you can't put 4 in there. So I have to figure out a way to kind of keep it from going up and down. But for right now, it's just there for pure looks. Just make it all look tactical. And my batteries are actually in these little tiny things. These are little tiny battery packs. So in here, I have 3 CR123As. And over here, the other one, I have 4 AA batteries. These are good for comms. These are good for my lights. My lights, like my Surefire lights and my weapons lights. And that's why I have my batteries. And it's the same kind of batteries I put in the Emerson counterweight pouch. And it also goes to the same effect. It helps balance out my headgear and the helmet so it sits a little better on my head. Now, Going back to this really quick, I'm going to run this over. So, I'm not going to undo it. You're going to have to take my word for it. I'll put a picture in it in the video. I have a contour gifted me from eHouse since he has a GoPro now. So, we're now actually able to run a concept. I can actually run a helmet cam now. And what I did and actually found on eBay, there's a guy that made like a rail RIS mount for this contour. It's 3D printed, I'm pretty sure. And I'm very sure, like 99.9% sure it's 3D printed. Don't remember it. And if you look it up, you'll probably find something that'll actually work. So I bought that. I landed onto here, but it was very easy. Like if I were to push the camera forward, it's like right now, it's not going to go. Well, it's not going to go forward now. But like if it's, I hit something that comes back this way, the way the mount's actually on here, it's not going to come off back this way. But if something hits it this way, it's going to push right off. There's something with the divots that just don't quite match quite well with the camera just yet. Works fine with the rail system though. So what I developed is I had these old cords from in the Condor with the retention tabs. Take those out, untie them. They're all tied. It's not sewn down. Untie those, take them all off because I don't like having those tabs. It just gets in the way from me from getting my mags. So I used some of those old cords there and actually tied it to this retention thing here and tied it to the base part of one of the straps here and then pushed it around this rail segment to keep some tension and actually retains the camera onto the helmet. I do the same similar setup on here, except I tie it between these two holes here. If you can see that. So I tie it to these two holes here, and same kind of retention kind of thing occurs, which is great. So now here comes the interesting notes that I found out. If you notice, in this, I have 1, 2, the back pad, and both the side pads in this helmet. And it's actually comfy. Nice and comfy, right? Both of these are Emerson helmets. This one, I only have 2 because the pads that they come with are slightly thicker and a little less like collapsible than this particular generation of helmet. Granted, this one's like a couple years old. This one's more new. So that's one little thing that I found rather odd about the Emerson helmets that came out of these. I don't know if it's just because of the type or the style. I don't think it's that. I think it's just the generation of thing that the padding was a little more thick, so I got to work out a little bit on this just to kind of get it a little more secure on my head. So if I lean over to kind of, I mean, you can secure it with the straps the best you can, but to kind of just lean over and just look at it, it's just not quite as tight to my head as I want it to be. Now, there's some other little things and tips and things that you can do with these helmets that are actually interesting. So you see these little tabs holes here. If you've ever had a Emerson helmet, there's these little holes right here, and they usually come with these little tiny like tabs that have like some rings that kind of fit in there. And one of the things that at Buffalo Battleground and now River City that they're going to require is that you have to wear face protection or like a mesh mask of some sort. So at the spot, this was Charlie. Charlie, one of the guys in the area. Actually, I saw him do this. He actually came up with this, and I just kind of mocked it the best I could. I somehow rigged my mask to be able to function almost like a rebreather for like a pilot. So have you ever seen like Top Gun or any aircraft movie where they have the little mask thing and they can just pull a thing off and it comes on and off? It does the same thing. So without further ado, here it is, my mask with the little tabs. Maybe I'll go over exactly how to do that because I know some people have asked me how I did it because they think it's cool. Again, not my idea. I borrowed it from someone else. I just kind of copied it, yet not really. All you need is just some scissors and some duct tape, or just duct tape, literally duct tape. So what you do, I'm gonna set it up here, is those tabs just go right in to where they are before, and then boom. Attached to my helmet, my face will be right here. Boom. Boom. Now, with some of the new things from River City, I have to figure out ear protection, something like along those lines. I'll have to redo that, so we'll figure it out. Still winter, there's snow on the ground, so I got time. Now, that pretty much just about covers it. So, I hope you enjoyed and found this review a little interesting. One of the things to be mindful of is the helmet, the pad system in the newer Emersons that I noticed are a little thicker, so you may have to try and find some alternate methods if you still want to have pads. As I like to have the helmet sit down just above my eyebrow line, so that way when my eye protection comes up, I have less exposed skin, because I have been dinged square right in between my helmet and goggles before. It's happened numerous times. Amazing shots. Amazing shots. But I'd like to try and prevent that, because I'm trying to protect my full head so my face looks nice and pretty. So hopefully they found this review kind of helpful. I know John Fernando from Gun Gamers is going to do a review, post a review up soon, or write up if he hasn't already. Probably has. About the Ops Core review, which is the actual ballistic version of this. These are repros, so they're not ballistic rated, anything like that, but they do offer some protection, basic protection for your head. So, as always, pew safely, pew often. Make sure you go check out our Facebook page, Instagram, that whole thing, shebang, all of it. And also check out our friends at River City Airsoft, where now E-House and myself are now sponsored players there. So please go check those guys out. Give all things Speedsoft a like and a follow and subscribe. Andre, I love you. Good job, bro. As always, pew safely, pew often. Redbeard out.